If you want to get an A star in your first language English paper, here's a technique for you. So let's look at paper 2, descriptive writing. Of course, the classic techniques here are to really choose the best words for the mood, the atmosphere you're trying to create, the vivid words, and then the figurative language and the sensory details. But on top of that, think about contrast. You might have heard about this word spoken when it comes to cameras, right? When you edit, you can tweak the contrast levels, the black and white, the brightness and the darkness, heightening that aspect of images, of photos, right? So contrast means opposites. It means the biggest difference, right? So day and night, hot and cold, golden retriever and black cat. Opposites attract. And when we see opposites, we remember. It stands out. It becomes impactful, interesting, engaging, right? If you want something to seem small, you're going to put it beside other things that are very big. If you want something to seem tall, you're going to put it beside other things that are very short. That's just the logic here. Let's look at some examples, because you can apply contrast as a technique on a sentence level and also on a paragraph and essay level, right? Okay, I'm gonna show you examples from my tuition students. So this is a sentence level example. This is from the question, past year paper, February-March 2021, variant 22, question 3. Describe the house of a person much older than you. So my student, for the introduction, right, he uses contrast by talking about how this small house is in between all these bigger houses, right? So he says, the house seemed odd, small, aged, almost out of place amongst the modern fancy triple stories that were closer to a mansion, right? In just one sentence, he has used contrast. I mean, he goes so far as to do a metaphor right after as well to really, hit home. He says, it looked like a divot, a tiny valley in a mountain of modern mansions, right? So you can expand from there, but just to show you, you can accomplish this in even one sentence. But then let's look at a different example where a student uses it to guide their bigger essay, right? The bigger paragraphs. This one is the past year paper, October-November 2024, variant 23, question 2. Write a description with the title, The Musician. So, to keep the readers engaged from start till end of this essay, right? Because when it comes to story writing, you can do plot, you can do character, but when it comes to descriptive writing, all you have is description. You have to write like 400 plus words. Like, how do you make it interesting, right? So here, this student, after describing the musicians and the concert and the stage, I mean, one brilliant thing she did is to have a theme. Like, the concert was Halloween themed, so all of her descriptions can match that. But besides that, let's talk about the contrast she applies. This one, there's one big paragraph where she talks about the singer, the musician, singing an upbeat, loud, gregarious, fun song, right? And then the next paragraph, she talks about the same singer singing a second song, which is much more mellow and soft and smooth and sultry, right? And so here, my student can showcase to the examiner that, hey, depending on these two different moods, I'm going to choose completely different, words and actions and like language to match it, right? I'm not just simply writing, I'm really thinking carefully here. And this is how you get really high marks, right? So when it comes to the upbeat song, the description is going to be different from the slow song. So the fast song, like, how are the musicians, like the main singer, their backup band, the dancers on stage, and the audience, right? Versus the slow song, right? And so some of the things, like, the way you dance is going to be different for the fast versus slow song, right? The way the audience hypes it up is going to be different for the fast and slow song. For the fast song, fireworks could be exploding at the back, and all the dancers, the choreography could be very fast and punchy, like punches and kicks, and they're using the stage, they're running up and down the stage, and then the audience is shouting and screaming, and hands in the air, jumping up and down, singing along, right? But then for the slow song, everybody's like, more swirls and twirls, and everyone's swaying from left to right. They have their phone cameras out, with the light, and moving left to right. So yes, contrasts show that difference and make your writing better. If you want to work on it with me in online tuition, feel free to WhatsApp me and we can make this happen.